Hey, hi. I got my mug. I have it now. Thanks to J&K Custom Design. I need to put a link to their Instagram so that if you guys want to get mugs from them, you can get mugs from them. That's my friends. So, I swallowed water into my lungs. All right, we're good. I swear we're good. I'm Devin, your friendly neighborhood board gamer. This is Devin Talks Tabletop, YouTube channel where the games are made up. What I say doesn't matter. And I thought I would do a narrative unboxing of Crusader Kings because I enjoyed just monologuing about this. So, come with me. I'll do the expansion afterwards. Oh, nice. Cool. I am a young, ambitious nobleman, and I'm in the northern hinterlands of Scotland, deep in the McFadden clan's territory, and I own just a modest swath of land, but I am looking to expand my reach. And so I have decided that even though Scotland has harbored some resentment for grand old England over the years, I have decided to seek my fortune whenever the king has requested that knights and noblemen across the land join the call to go to the Crusades in the Promised Land. And so I have decided to take my squire, Johnny John McFadden Leoch is his full title. And let's see, 90% off Crusader Kings 2 for PC. Cool. Maybe I'll keep that for myself instead of being generous. Who knows? And so, as the nobleman, my name is Sir. So, as the Scottish nobleman, Sir, with my squire Johnny John McFadden Leoch, I've answered the call to go to the Promised Land. And what have I discovered in the Promised Land but pure and utter opportunity for anyone who's willing to get their hands dirty. And instead of worrying about Salahadin and all of the Saracens that are out there, I'm not actually worried about the goal of the Crusades at all. I'm just here for fame and fortune and glory. And the thing that I've realized about fame and fortune and glory is sometimes it's best not to seek your own rise, but to plan for someone else's fall. And that's kind of exactly what I did when I went to Israel, and I decided to make friends with some of the most prosperous landowners in Scotland and Wales. And by that, I mean the people who maybe didn't know who I was while I was in Scotland, they definitely know who I am now, because I wouldn't say that I made myself their lackey, but I definitely ingratiated myself to those who inherited more than I did when I was born. And so the beautiful part about that is once you get into the good graces of kind of the noble, I wouldn't say like the drug dealer, but like the guy who hit everybody up with, you know, their special requests. I was the guy with the trench coat. I was Sir, the Scottish nobleman with the trench coat full of goods that you want whenever you're stuck in a foreign land. So I negotiated all kinds of deliveries across the Promised Land throughout my time in the Crusades. And what's good about that is they don't ever expect you to be devious. They just expect you to do things for them. So my greatest coup, whenever I was in the Promised Land as Sir with my squire Johnny John McFadden Leoch, was that I helped to make certain that all of these noblemen who didn't have their families with them at all, they were kind of traveling solo, ready to maybe bring wives back to merry old England and Scotland. But I made it to where when they would go into battle, they were properly soused. And the genius part about that is then when they died, which they did, they didn't have anyone to challenge the fact that I claimed their land and title back in Scotland. Because, you see, I forged documents in their name after they had died, because I had kept paperwork that they had paid for. I kept receipts on all of my transactions that I did with them. And because I kept receipts, the great part about that is that I knew what their signatures were like. And so I was able to forge documents that transferred over titleship of all of their lands and their inheritances. And, I didn't feel too bad about it because it was very profitable for me. I went from being just a minor nobleman in Scotland to being one of the greatest noblemen in Scotland. Not that anyone knew who I was, but they knew all the stuff that I owned, because when you get 2 or 3 mid-tier nobles and 4 or 5 high-level nobles, and you combine all of their stuff together, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of land and a lot of money. So the crazy thing is by the time I came back from the Crusades, which was just a great time, such good experiences in terms of culinary exposure. Johnny John McFadden Leoch, my squire, he learned how to make some of the most fabulous dishes. The Mediterranean diet is truly my favorite, and I feel like to the end of my days, which it will come at some point during this game, I feel like I'm 100% going to want to just eat that for the rest of my life. I came back, and you see, when you become powerful, a couple things happen. People start to pay attention to you, but you also get a lot of enemies. And, Johnny John was a little bit worried about that. He thought that we were going to kind of jump up into a little bit too much of a higher, tier of class and social standing, one that maybe we weren't ready for. But when you come back and you go from being a nobody to very much a somebody, you do get more enemies. But I had accrued enough land and enough wealth, I'd amassed enough riches and power that the people who started to become afraid of me, it was kind of too late. So I decided at that time that I needed to do the socially right thing to do and secure an heir for my fortune, because I can plot and scheme for as much as I want, but if I don't have any legitimacy in terms of children, if I haven't sired any sons and daughters, I can't really ensure that. Oh no, where'd that one go? Oh no, where'd that one go? Oh no, where'd that one go? I don't even know where that one went. Where'd that one go? Where'd that one go? Oh no. There it went. So the great thing about this is that I found the right woman. And by that I mean I found someone who was equal to my devious schemes. They just thankfully didn't want to kill me yet. And so, she was wonderful. She was so great. We spent long nights, making love and making evil plans for all of the people who tried to threaten our good fortune. And she was very much in favor of, us having children so that we could maintain our hold on the land, and even in our old age we could watch as they forgot about us and focused on their own designs and ambitions and completely neglected the people that brought them to where they were. We were just so ready for that in our lives. We just knew it would be so wonderful. And then we decided that we needed to expand out of Scotland, that the Scotland was never enough. And we even thought about making a movie about how Scotland was never enough. But it just seemed like there were at least 6 people who had made that kind of movie before us, and we didn't want to be the 7th. So we ended up not doing that. But we still have commercial rights to do that if we want to pursue, because it just seems like a really good opportunity. We kind of wanted it to be like a thriller, but I'm getting distracted and off topic. It's okay. So, yeah, the coolest part about deciding to make a move against monarchs is that it's hard for them to see it coming from people that they think are lesser than them. It's really a matter of arrogance, because you always assume that the people below you in terms of social standing don't have the capacity to get on your level or to get above you. And that is just such a stupid thought, as I have proven again and again and again over the course of my life. And so we did a combination. We did a combo coup, so to speak. And we decided to poison all of the men and then socially outcast all of the women in the royal family. And, England has, at the time, they've just got quite a large royal family. And so we had to do this to quite a lot of people. We had to poison a significant number of men, like at least 17, which was difficult because we tried to coordinate it all across the course of like one night. We got like 16 of the 17 men at their like evening meals. We were able to, introduce poison to their meals without them or their loyal servants knowing. So that was pretty successful, like a large scale. That was really, really well done. But like one of them kind of figured out what was going on because of how weird everybody was acting around them, and they ran away. And that it took us so long to catch up to them. We were like already in power by that point, and it was just kind of like one final thing to wrap up, one last loose end. And the reason why we were kind of persistent with that is because I'm trying to tell a story here. It's just really rude. It's really rude to make noise out there. Anyways, the reason why we just wanted to make sure that we got everything done and we didn't leave anything hanging. So we were consistent though. Like we still poisoned them again because we kind of like thematic continuity, and we just felt like we needed to poison them, even the second time after we caught up with them. So that was what was going on, and so we started to have some kids, and they were gonna inherit the crown, and we thought that made sense now that we ruled England, and then we wanted the kid to have siblings so that they could, battle for, our favor, to curry favor from our parents. But then we wanted all of our friends in our family to also have kids so that we could extend our connections from England into Europe. And once we had even more kids, we were across the entire European continent, we were really able to start generationally infiltrating the place there. Now, we did run in afoul of the Pope a little bit because there was just such a prevalence of, traditional Roman Catholic beliefs like on the mainland, and that was an issue for us, namely just because it kind of gave some people something to believe in other than us, and we didn't really like that. So eventually we decided that we needed to socially embarrass the Pope, kind of like how we did, in shaming all of the women of the royal family after we poisoned all of their husbands. And so once we did that, we kind of decided on that plan of action to go along with that for the Pope. And that took a long time to kind of find something that was seedy enough to get a Pope chastened to the point to where they were kind of impotent against us. But we also, we had to do a lot of research. We actually even went into the papal archives. We went into the Vatican archives to find... It's weird. They really like to document everything. And so they even documented the weird stuff that they shouldn't have documented. And we kind of took that, to our advantage. And so then, once we figured that part out... we just kind of started building up our strength all over the continent, and we kind of started, having kingdoms and fiefdoms, all with enough military presence with the castles to kind of impose our will. And it didn't really matter if we were from Germany or from France or from Switzerland or from Spain or from England. It didn't really matter where we came from as long as we were part of this tight family collective. If you could think like medieval monarch cult, but in an upbeat way, it's not that bad. It's like a happy thing. And so we were kind of able to start religious crusades of our own. We just didn't focus on the Middle East at all. We just kind of focused on killing anybody who didn't do what we wanted them to do. And that proved to be effective for quite some time. And what was good was as I started to enter old age, 33, I just, we really developed kind of a vice grip all over the land. And so the European continent was mostly ours, and all of the children that we had sired and that our friends had sired had created this network to where we really could mess with whoever we wanted to, and it was effective. The issue is that other people wanted to plot against us, and that was a problem because I don't like people doing what I'm doing. So I kind of messed that up. So I put a lot of things into the public eye and into their mentality of the plebs, and that was that we were a blessed and ordained family from God on high, and that gave us a lot of public sympathy, which made it hard for people to move against us. these are all of the family members that we have across Europe, and it was very effective in really making it seem like we were everywhere, because we physically were, but also we were everywhere in people's minds. They always thought about us, and that was important to me, that people always thought about us. And so, the best laid plans are laid in some way. And so I laid those plans. And these are all of the documents that I've kept. These are all of the major houses that we now are across the continent and across, even other more outlying kingdoms. It's been a successful life, but I'm now in the ripe old age of 53, and I don't think I'm really trying to do a story here. It's really rude. Really rude. Really rude. You're also trying to do work, but your work is way louder than mine. Anyways, it's been a successful life, and I just wanted to dictate it to someone before I died, because my daughter shanked me with a knife, so I'm like bleeding out right now. So it was good though. I taught her well. Yeah. Ooh. I'm fading from existence.